Carol Dillon, who is a PhD researcher with the University of Limerick, who's done a fascinating piece of research and is continuing to work on it on bilateral players in Gaelic football. We're also going to be joined that hour as well by former Galway hurling manager Conor Hayes, because it's 20 years tomorrow since Galway beat Kilkenny on a 5-18 to 4-18 scoreline to win an epic All-Ireland semi-final in 2005. One of the greatest games played that decade, I think it's fair to say. On the football show then from 9 o'clock, we're going to look ahead to Rovers and Shelbourne's clashes tomorrow night in Europe. And we'll also speak to John Anderson about the Alexander Isak situation at Newcastle. Our number is 0879 180 180 if you want to get in touch. Cameron Hill has got your news round momentarily. Hello, Cameron.
Hello, Owen.
And Nathan Murphy is back in studio as well. Hello, Nathan.
Hey, Owen.
Back from an injury-enforced absence. An Oasis inflicted injury enforced absence.
Well, I picked up my injury at just the wrong time. I overdid it at our John Giles celebration. I
John's fault.
John, listen, that man, 84 years of age, got a bad dose of the man flu, nearly missed Oasis.
Right.
2 hours before stage time, I was lying in my bed, shouting at the roof angrily as to how this had happened to me right now. Of all the moments for me to be struck down with man flu, why now? But I managed to gather myself up, got myself in a taxi, got to the stadium, went home straight afterwards.
What changed in those 2 hours?
Yeah, what did you trade to the devil to get him out of bed? Get you out of bed?
Listen, I manned up.
Okay.
As you do in these times. Didn't man up for, working Monday or anything like that, but
then
manned up for that.
Broke down in tears for 2.5 hours at Croke Park, no doubt.
God, it was quite an emotional experience, wasn't it? I know what the world is waiting for now is another Oasis conversation, but I don't think I've ever been as addicted to watching videos of something I was at to see how much everyone else enjoyed it and to be really happy for everyone else who enjoyed it.
Because you would have had the same level of happiness if you weren't there, of course.
Oh, God, I would have been absolutely devastated. Like, I'd seen a lot of videos from, the gigs in Manchester and Glasgow and all of that. So expectations were high, very high for this. But I actually can't remember ever being at anything else quite like it, where there was just this universal sense of, what if this is as good as it gets?
There's a fair case to be made that it is. It is all downhill from here.
There was a moment like during Stand By Me where I was like, this is happiness.
You made lots of new friends as well.
Hello to all of my new friends. I went by myself.
Yeah.
I had only one ticket.
Yeah.
Not by choice. They would only allow me buy one ticket during the incredibly convoluted process a year ago. So, I found myself stuck between two groups of four who were all having a very good time. And they took me in. Didn't mention the man flu that I was spreading around the place. No. Apologies for that if you're all not feeling so great. By Wednesday, it'll just be kicking in around about now. And they took me under their wing, offered me drinks. Every time someone was going to the bar, back they came with drinks. It was just a beautiful thing. It was that sort of night, wasn't it?
They did indeed stand by you. That is exactly how it went for them. And you subsequently got quite emotional at that. That is a beautiful story. So good to have you back.
It's great to have you
back in the fold. I often feel around this time of the year, 20th of August, whatever, 2 weeks away from deadline day, that the two most powerful human beings in our sphere are Fabrizio Romano and David Ornstein. But I think there could be somebody about to break up that power couple, step up. Craig Hope of the Daily Mail, the northern correspondent of the Daily Mail, has the keys to all the Alexander Isak information. He's currently doing a Q&A on the Mail website for subscribers only. I suspect Mail Plus has never been so popular, and he is the man in the know. He dropped a bombshell, something that...
Another one.
Another bombshell earlier today, that there could be a further complication to the Alexander Isak story. Well, it is the Alexander Isak story because it's the Eoin Vissa story. Everything has a bit of a knock-on impact, where Tottenham are considering offering Richarlison as part of Eberechi Eze and would then move for Brentford's Eoin Vissa. So that means that Eoin Vissa and his frustrations at the moment with, the wheels not being greased from Newcastle's perspective, could find himself a new club. Could that therefore push the domino, or actually make the Alexander Isak domino stand up a little bit firmer?
So you did a couple of really good pieces on this last night, on the sort of dynamic of football transfers and why clubs need to sell at certain times and PSR and all of that. Like, is what happens on the football pitch completely irrelevant now that Richarlison, who scores the goal of the season on Saturday, Tottenham are just like, oh, that's enough of that. We've seen this trick before, Richarlison. We know come October you'll be a bit moody, a bit cranky, you'll have got yourself sent off. Let's get the first 3 weeks out of you and then send you on your way, maybe get 5 or 6 goals. Why are they getting rid of Richarlison when Dominic Solanke is... So suddenly Eoin Vissa's Like, they've lots of games. They're playing in the Champions League. Keep all of these guys. The most interesting twist, I think, to this would be, what if Isak picks up a niggle during his, what it seems are quite infrequent training sessions at this stage, though he was there today. A lot of angry. You see, the problem for players as well during the transfer window, this one in particular, is obviously it's the middle of summer, so the kids are off school and have nothing for doing except hanging around training grounds. So there was a lot of young little kids hanging around the Newcastle training ground, shouting rat at him, getting very angry. He was trying not to slow down too much. But what if he picks up a little niggle and then he can't leave? Then he's stuck. And it's clear there's been no coming together. There's been no apology. You know, the agent screwed me over. I didn't really mean any of this. I want to be the next Alan Shearer. And everyone goes, all right, fair enough. Like, what happens? What do you think happens if he's still there after the international break?
What's your advice to Alexander Isak in terms of getting out of the bed that is Newcastle and managing to get to the Oasis gig that is any other club? What would you say to him?
I think I'm trying to come up with an Oasis themed pun right now.
Not stand by me. He doesn't want to do that.
No. He's not doing everything he can possibly do.
No, he hasn't changed his profile picture yet on Instagram. It is still
That's
Isak.
not Johan Vissa.
It's still Isak in a Newcastle jersey. So
Like, it's quite tiresome, isn't it, at this stage? It's just like, get it done or don't get it done. I'm interested in what Liverpool fans think, because obviously last night escalated it again, and it happens in the middle of the PFA Awards where all the Liverpool players are meant to be having a good time and enjoying their success of last season and getting recognised, and here's the new guy sort of stealing your thunder. Like, if you're Mo Salah, I'm not too happy about that. So what's the next thing? Like, just get it done at this stage. I'm just a little bit done and sick with it all.
Yeah.
But are Liverpool fans looking at that going, you know, as I've seen people point out, well, this sort of behaviour is diabolical and it's now part of his character. So in 2 or 3 years' time, he's just going to want to move on again if he does well at Liverpool. But do you just accept that? Like, everybody at every single level of this is going on strike or demanding a move.
Yeah. What's the end point of that? Like, you can't really see Trent Alexander-Arnold going on strike or demanding a move from Real Madrid. Like, are they officially top of the food chain?
I think we'd all agree that's your end point. Like, would you be shocked if Isak in 2 or 3 years wanted to go to Barcelona or Real Madrid? Oh, but you hope you get your 2 or 3 years. See, I'm just not a fan of loyalty in football in any way.
Okay.
I know the two of them aren't linked, and people will feel it's a ridiculous argument, but I always just think that the way that clubs can treat young players and take in so many players into academies, sell them the stream and just dump them whenever they want. Like, look at, not Sean Longstaff, his brother, Matty.
Yep.
I remember being at St. James's Park. We must be going back pre-COVID, maybe 6 years ago. Scores this goal against Manchester United, skims it along the ground, bottom left-hand corner, local boy done good. I think it was his first ever goal for the club. Like, there's a kid who loves Newcastle United, who's clearly an incredibly talented footballer. Did Newcastle go, oh, we'll just keep this guy around and maybe offer him 40, 50 grand a week because he's clearly talented and he loves the club more than all of these mercenaries who are coming in? No. First opportunity, they got rid.
Matt Longstaff, who's he currently playing for? Quiz question.
He went, I think he was in the MLS, was he?
Yeah, does this club play in the MLS? Yeah, well, he did go to the MLS. He is still in the MLS. So he's gone to Canada,
okay.
And he went.
I know people will feel that's a ridiculous argument that the two aren't the same, and that you know what you're getting when you're going into academy. There's no guarantees in football, but like those clubs don't have any loyalty. Do they have an aftercare program where they're keeping in touch with these 18, 19-year-olds in 5, 10, 15 years' time to make sure they're doing okay and dealing with their disappointment? No, they don't, despite the fact that they're having all the money in the world to do that if they wanted to. So if the players want to screw them over every so often, like, are we going to... You can feel sympathy for the Newcastle fans. You can feel sympathy for Liverpool fans when Alexander-Arnold went. You feel sympathy for the Brentford fans. How far down are we going before we don't care?
You want to give sympathy to everybody or you give sympathy to nobody?
Well, exactly. Because somebody is ultimately going to be the loser in this entire thing in terms of one club is going to be screwed over right on the final line of the transfer window and will have left it too late.
CF Montreal, if it ever comes up in a quiz question again, he's made one appearance so far. I presume the season's just started over there as well. That's
but
where
I know our
Matty
biggest
Longstaff
fan
is.
in that part of the world is a regular Newsround listener, Kevin Kilban, who is obviously the voice of Canadian football for the people of Canada. Are they Montreal or an MLS team?
That they are an MLS team, according to my very quick
Because I know
researcher.
Kev's heart beats Toronto at this stage.
In the Eastern Conference now, Matty Longstaff did go to Toronto FC. and then agitated for a move. No, he didn't. I'm not sure if he agitated for a move, but he certainly moved from Toronto to Montreal. He went on strike, Matty Longstaff.
Montreal, a nicer place. Does it turn out that Toronto is the Newcastle of Canada?
He sold his apartment and moved up to Montreal. A sickening display of individuality from Matty Longstaff, I think it's fair to say. Right, let's get
Matty Longstaff. They didn't treat him well, so Alexander Isak is dead right.
The Newsround is with UPMC Sports Surgery Clinic. When things don't move, rotate, or bend like they used to, choose us to help you get back in action. You're going to begin by looking ahead to tomorrow evening, Cameron.
Yes, indeed. And Shelbourne manager Joey O'Brien has confirmed that striker Sean Boyd is available tomorrow evening for their Conference League playoff against Linfield. The reigning Premier Division champions, of course, welcome the NIFL side to Talca Park for the first leg tomorrow night. And O'Brien has urged his players to have no regrets.
It's about what got us here, and I suppose what got us here over the last year or so, whatever. It's been about performance and been about nailing our performances, and then when it matters, making sure you're able to step up. And I think we've done that as a group, and the lads have done that as a group of players, as a squad of players. We've been really challenged at times throughout the last year or so, and even the last few weeks at times in really tough European games. Really stepped up in some monster performances that they've put in individually and collectively, from a squad point of view. And here again, that's the message about tomorrow night. It's about nailing your own performance and making sure you just focus on that, and after the game you have no regrets.
We have full live match commentary of this tomorrow evening on Off the Ball. Nathan, yourself and Vinnie Perth are going to be at Talca Park for this.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Sellout crowd. Rematch, which is a strange old thing to have in European competition. Shelbourne had more than enough for them a month ago, but that was Linfield pre-season, Shelbourne mid-season. Linfield have got themselves a new hot young striker who's scoring a lot of goals at the moment, which could change things. And I think it's going to be very, very tense and very tight over the next couple of games. But I can't wait, because these European nights at Talca Park have just been brilliant. Obviously, they would love a bigger ground, a better ground, all of those things. But the fact that they're getting to play these games, remember they thought at one stage we're going to be stuck in Tala, and they were going to have to bring everyone out there. And yeah, you could get more people in. But I think, having this game in Talca Park is a huge advantage to them. The
Talca Park thing's huge for Shelbourne. Like, I was asking on LOI Late Night not too long ago, Shane Kennedy, who's our regular Shels contributor, like, well, when they sort of just stuck their nose up at the idea of going to the Aviva for a league game, I think that was in the works, and it was the Shels supporters who kind of had a huge backlash against that. And just fighting for Talca and the survival of Talca, it's such an intrinsic part of the DNA of that club that any game at all, no matter how big the stakes are or how huge it is, it's Talca or nowhere for a lot of Shels fans. So yeah, again, tomorrow night's going to be really, really special for that club.
They're one of two clubs in European action tomorrow night. You've got Santa Clara hosting Shamrock Rovers in the first leg of their Conference League playoff. And really, no matter what happens in these two games for Irish clubs, already the best news in Irish football this week was seeing that picture of Josh Bradley ringing the bell yesterday.
Incredible. 3-year battle with leukemia, and Josh, as a very young child, has suffered far more than any child should ever have to. And to get to the end of that treatment plan for leukemia, to get to ring the bell, there's a video up online where he speaks so well in terms of the people that have helped him along the way and the people that he'd met. And we obviously did the Inner Drive series just 3-4 months ago now with Stephen Bradley and with his wife Emma, where she spoke about it for the first time and the impact that Josh's diagnosis had on the family. And they have 2 other children as well, you see in the video, who I'm sure this has been such a strain on for the last few years. So for Stephen Bradley to have this flight to this huge game and to, for once, for the first time in 3 years, not have this weight on his shoulder of worry of what's going on at home. And you might remember one of the pieces in that video that was maybe the hardest part to listen to was, so soon after Josh's initial diagnosis 3 years ago, they had to go to Bulgaria to play Ludogorets, and Stephen Bradley just saying there's times in your life when you know you're in the wrong place, and he probably shouldn't have gone, but felt he had to go and wanted to have a sense of normality. And then you're there and the rest of the family are at home, and Josh is starting his treatment and having to ring Emma, and everybody's in tears and everybody's struggling, and he's on the other side of Europe. So to have a full circle to again still be there, still successful with Shamrock Rovers. And I don't think any of us really fully realise what they have gone through. Like the day we recorded that episode out in Tala, Stephen and Emma had come straight from Crumlin Children's Hospital, where they'd been for the previous 3 nights because Josh had been in receiving some treatment. And that was a regular occurrence where on a Friday before the match. Stephen would be travelling there straight from the hospital. Nobody would know this. He wouldn't have made a song and dance of it. If they lost the game, there would have been no training was affected, anything like that. Getting little or no sleep and just putting on a brave face and getting on with it. And I think, everybody will look at that video, and how could you not be, that you get to ring that bell and that now a bit of normalcy can return to their lives. So
absolutely. Unbelievable stuff, Josh. Congratulations to everybody involved there. There's nothing that can happen now tomorrow that'll outdo that. But if Shamrock Rovers were to win tomorrow evening, it'll be something special as well. They're up against a team in the upper echelons of Portuguese football. So if they manage to bring that back to Tala next week in a positive enough state, that should be a good enough result for them tomorrow night. Tonight then, Champions League playoffs are beginning, Cameron.
Yes, and Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers has urged his team to be ruthless in their playoff first leg tonight. They're taking on Kazakh side Almaty at Parkhead with kick-off at 8 o'clock. Now, despite winning the league, Celtic have to go through qualifying due to Scotland finishing outside the top 10 in UEFA's association rankings last season. And Rodgers says the players showed in last year's edition of the Champions League that they belong at this level.
Well, we gave a hint last season of what we can do when we we improved the squad last year and went into the Champions League in a really good way. And so, as I said, we felt and showed what we can do at the level. And for me, the job is to keep trying to develop and at minimum sustain that. And for that, you need that constant improvement of your squad. So, but currently where this group's at, with what we have, the players are doing very, very well. Really focusing in on the training's been so good, been really intense, and that's allowed us to keep improving. So we don't want to overthink this game. We know the magnitude of it. We know the consequence of it. However, it'll only look good for us if we play to the level that we want to play, and that's what we're focused on.
Yeah, Brendan Rodgers there.
Can't go much worse than it did for Rangers last night. Beaten 3-1 by Club Brugge at Ibrox. They were 3-0 down after 20 minutes. The first two goals. First goal was a disgrace. Just a long ball forward, two centre backs. Let it bounce over their head, and they seem to think the keeper's coming, even though they're only around 10 yards inside their own half, and just leave it for the Club Brugge attacker to just smack it in from 30 yards. Then they don't bother defending from a corner kick 5 minutes after that. They're 3-0 down after 20 minutes. People are leaving already at that stage. Now, they did get consolation, so maybe at 3-1, they're not quite out of it. But yeah, it was, again, maybe a reminder of where a lot of Scottish football is at the moment right now.
Yeah, Russell Martin not off to the best of starts as Rangers
good hair
manager.
though. Is it good hair? Just a lot of hair.
Yeah, it's great hair. It is unquestionably great hair. Where do you want to go next, Cameron?
Well, just to mention that Adamida and Liam Scales both starting for Celtic in that game. Again, kick-off at 8 o'clock at Parkhead. Republic of Ireland striker Leanne Kiernan has extended her stay at Liverpool today by signing a new contract. She scored 23 goals for the Reds since moving to the Merseyside club 4 years ago, and she says it feels amazing to commit her future to the club, and she's hopeful they can build on last season's 7th place finish in the WSL.
I thought we should have given Cameron a bit of credit earlier on that while we're still thinking Oasis, he's moving on and he's going with the Robbie Williams puns with no regrets.
There you go.
Yeah.
Have you got any more?
No.
Are you going to Robbie Williams?
I'm going to go to Robbie Williams.
Why the momentary silence?
I could feel you judging me.
Why would I judge you?
once upon a time was a serious Robbie Williams fan.
Oh, really, yeah?
Yeah. Was in a Robbie Williams video once upon a time.
Oh, no way. Tell us more.
Don't be setting me up. But I haven't seen Robbie Williams since then, I don't think.
So
personally, or even in concert, standing on a stage well away from me.
Are you glad that it's in this order that you're going to the concerts and not having to show your face at an Oasis concert?
Well, I wasn't
at Robbie Williams.
Yeah, I just like going to gigs and don't mind going, and I was looking forward to it. But then when I was on my sickbed and couldn't fully enjoy Oasis, I was like, well, I'm going to go and bloody enjoy Robbie Williams. It's the last thing I do.
Are you going to recreate the scene in which you appear in one of his music videos?
I don't think, you see, the key to that was that I was on someone's shoulders.
Yeah.
And, things have changed for myself and Robbie. In fairness, Robbie, I think, has fluctuated where I've gone more in one direction, and I'm not sure that too many people are going to be that keen to have me on their shoulders.
What were you shouting at him again? I love you. I don't
think it was that. I don't.
You're the effing man. You're the effing man, says Mick.
I was a younger man, younger man.
It's the video to which song again?
Strong.
The official video to Strong.
Yeah, it's a great song.
It's a great song. That's what I'm saying. I can't believe it's the official video.
It was recorded in Dublin.
What? I enjoy this weekend.
See, I'm learning more about you. See, it's very hard to read your tone here, where I can't tell whether you're like Strong is a great song.
Strong is a great song.
Or You're like, this is
No,
absolute rubbish.
Strong's on the
Listen, we
set
go
list
to
this
a lecture
weekend.
picnic the week after.
Yeah.
And I'll redeem myself. You can again show me around all the super cool acts that I just don't realise are there.
Okay, deal. Where do you want to take us next, Cameron?
Well, we'll go to swimming, Owen, because John Short has claimed gold in the men's 100 metres backstroke at the World Aquatics Junior Championships in Romania today. He came home first in a time of 53.86 seconds. That's 600ths of a second slower than the junior record he set yesterday in the semi-final. And he now joins Mona McCharry as Ireland's only other World Junior Champion, I should say. Now, speaking to Swim Ireland's in-house media, the Galway native says he got his strategy spot on today.
Race went really well. Probably was just holding on for dear life coming towards the end, but we got the hand on the wall first, and that's really all that matters. So my strategy was we need to be out with the guys, because they were out so much quicker than me last night, and they were beating me to the first 50. So as long as I was out with them, I knew I had the chance to come back quicker than they did, and that's exactly what happened.
Two-time Olympic champion Paul O'Donovan will miss next month's World Rowing Championships in Shanghai. That's due to work commitments. So Rowing Ireland's lead coach Dominic Casey confirmed today that the Cork man and his heavyweight doubles partner Darragh Lynch won't be travelling to China. O'Donovan is a 7-time world gold medalist and he's currently working as a doctor at Dublin's Mater Hospital.
Yeah, it's been a tricky 2025 for everybody who was having an amazing time last year at the Olympics for various different reasons. We were chatting to Cahill yesterday about Rashida. Obviously, we've had Danielle Whiffen on the show. Rhys McClanahan's had a tough year as well, and obviously the rowers as well. This is when you want to have your lull, though. I mean, you've got 3 years to peak.
Well, exactly. That now's the time to have your injuries, to have your doubts, and give yourself plenty of time to get back fully fit. But what Paul O'Donovan just does is insane. Even the fact that one of our greatest ever athletes is, I just won't make that because I've got the day job.
Yeah.
And you get the sense of them, there's no regrets with that. It's like, of course, this is what I do.
How many views do you think Strong by Robbie Williams has on YouTube?
Well, I'd say quite a few more in the last few minutes from you, Owen. You try and find that exact moment.
I have it right here in front of me.
No.
It's so good. It's 1 minute and 56 seconds into the
Robbie Williams Strong. So YouTube wasn't even a thing back then, so it probably missed out on its initial 20 million views.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 1.2 million views.
8 million.
Wow.
Yeah. More than the population of this island. It's
some people watch it twice.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Yeah, wow.
What is next, Cameron?
Well, Aoife Wafer's been ruled out of Ireland's Women's Rugby World Cup opener against Japan on Sunday. The Six Nations player of the championship had minor knee surgery earlier this month and didn't train with her teammates in Northampton this afternoon. That knee injury from just before the final game of the Six Nations against Scotland earlier this year. Now, head coach Scott Beamond is hopeful that Wafer will be fit to play some part in the upcoming matches with Spain and New Zealand. But co-captain Edel McMahon, who missed the warm-up games against Scotland and Canada with a knee issue, was able to train with her teammates both yesterday and today. So good news on that front.
We will be speaking to Fiona Hayes after the first ad break this evening, getting her preview of Ireland's chances at this year's Rugby World Cup. Now, on to Wales.
Yeah, the WRU says halving the number of its professional teams is its best option to transform the sport in the country. It would mean that 2 of Cardiff Dragons, Ospreys and Scarlets are put at risk. It's unlikely to be Cardiff given that the WRU now own that. But other options would include continuing with 4 sides or going down to 3, either with equal or unequal funding. A consultation period will begin on the 1st of September, so not good news for Welsh rugby.
Do you want to finish up on concussion then?
Yeah, recent research into concussion in rugby may actually indicate that players' attitudes towards the effects are improving. An Irish rugby injury surveillance report published last week showed that more than a third of schools players said they would play on with a headache from a minor concussion. Now, one of the authors of that report, Dr. Jack Moore of UCD, joined Jaron Cullum on Off the Ball Breakfast this morning. He argues that rugby has come a long way in its attitude to concussion since 10 years ago.
There was actually 2 smaller studies done in Ireland. I think there was only 150 to 100, maybe 200 in each of those, and that it was up into 3/4 of players, and that was a decade ago. So there is a significant improvement. I know from you take that statistic, 30+%. It's a bit of a scary statistic when you read that study. My study for the first time, or our study, myself and Prof Deasy's, you'd initially think, oh God, 35%. But what you don't see is that it's actually an improvement and things are going in the right direction. And hopefully, we can continue to get that number down.
Yeah, that full piece available to listen to now wherever you get your Off the Ball podcasts. A couple of texts in. John in Dublin says, I thought myself and Nathan had a date in the Lower Hogan. Totally stood me up, not even a text. You did announce Lower Hogan last week.
Yeah, I wasn't quite that posh, it turned out. In the end, I was Upper Davin. It was so long since I bought my ticket, I think I'd convinced myself mentally that I had actually got myself quite a steal. But a perfect view, head on, sound incredible. I've been to gigs in Croke Park before, and sometimes it was be by the time you're standing there in the end. No, this was poof.
Sensational. Aidan on YouTube says, the exact same thing happened to me, Nathan, in bed until 5 p.m, but I forced myself to drink alcohol, and that somehow worked. Paid for until today, though. Stockroom Tim on YouTube says, the board isn't backing Rodgers this summer. He'll be off shortly. And a lot of people wondering about Robbie Williams here. Will Nathan shove his way to the front row with a tricolour and shout, you're the effing man again? Strong is a great song. Oprah Winfrey, Ricky Lake. Teach me things that I don't need to know, says another texter. And then finally, another texter says, of course it's a great song. Not just anybody can write the lyrics. You think that I'm strong. You're wrong. You're wrong. I'm singing my song, my song, my song. Beautiful. Genius.
Listen, there's a lot of great songs.
Nailed it.
That if you break them down into their individual lyrics, may not be the finest.
Coming out to bat for Robbie Williams. What has happened?
Do you know what I mean?
On a Wednesday.
I mean, I think the less we delve into maybe what we actually the artistic merits of last week, maybe the worse our memories will actually be.
Just remember it as it was.
Exactly. Nathan, you will be back with us a little bit later on for the football show after 9 o'clock. Cameron Hill, thank you for tonight's Newsround. We'll be chatting to Fiona next about the Women's Rugby World Cup. Before that, Cash Machine.
News Talk's Summer Cash Machine.
Now, there's another huge amount to be given away on the Cash Machine this week, with over €250,000 going to a guaranteed winner on Friday. The number you now need to know is €256,000 exactly. And there are two ways you can enter. You can visit newstalk.com/cash machine, where you can enter online, or you can text play to 57557. That's 57557. You have to get your entry in by 3 p.m. on Friday. Then across the Go Loud network of stations, someone will get that call. If it's you that gets the call, you have to answer it within 5 rings. Give us the exact amount in euro and cent, and you'll win the cash. So remember that amount one more time. €256,000 exactly. Over 18s only. Text costs €2.50 plus your standard message rate to play. You're playing across the Go Loud network of stations, and terms